Hey everyone, I have an update for you on that zero clearance vestibule situation, right? We talked about that with elevators recently. Something happened. I read the comments, and by the way, can I just say, every one of you is so wonderful. Like, this is not a common thing you hear anywhere on the internet, least of all on YouTube, but like, my comment section in general is just so amazing. Everyone's really happy and kind and shows up with all this good information. I know like loads of other creators, right? And most of them are like, Jesus, man, my comment section is a freaking sewer. How the hell did you curate this community? And it's all on you. It has nothing to do with me. But this last video is no exception. We were talking about elevators and the zero clearance vestibules, and a number of people were discussing various codes and rules and things they'd seen. And I started to see mentions of people being like, "Oh man, what a freaking nightmare it would be to like get stuck in there." Other people were like, we should put like bars and blockages and mechanisms to prevent somebody from like being in there. It really shouldn't be zero clearance." I'm like, "Yeah, I get it, but it's hard to build. Buildings are hard." And people kept saying though, like, didn't that happen? I saw like this happened to somebody overseas in like Asia. And I was like, damn, that's some nightmare fuel there. Then somebody specifically said, hey, there's this other creator, Mr. Ballin, and like, I think he totally talked about this. You should check out this video. And there was like a link. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, let's see what this is. And sure enough, like I played the video. I didn't know if it was real, right? Because I never heard of this creator. Apparently, like Emily watches him. He's well known, but look, like it looks clickbaity, right? You've got like the kind of clickbait thumbnail and the big capital letters and like the title. I'm like, yeah. I'm not saying people make stuff up, but there are some channels that will be a little less scrupulous with like their research. They'll just kind of repeat things they've heard because it's sensationalistic. And I was like, I don't know. Let's see if this is actually real. And I was searching as much as I could for like entrapped in building, entrapped in elevator. There wasn't a lot of information other than this was like somewhere in Taiwan, and I couldn't find any English language like news sources about this. He even mentions her name, like this woman named Chen, and like it was nothing. And it's such a over the top story. Like the way this story is told is that a woman not only gets trapped there, but she dies and then is discovered, like she gets trapped there by accident and gets discovered by accident by another person who like freaks out. And it's like a story made for virality on the internet. So I'm like, true or false? There's got to be something about this on the online. How come I can't find anything? And I started telling people, I'm like, I don't know, I can't confirm this or not. But people are like, no, I'm pretty. Mr. Ballin's got his act together, and Emily was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a solid guy. He's a nice guy. I'm like, all right, so let's assume he didn't just make it up. How is no one talking about this? And I did a little sleuthing, right? So what made me think this could be real is he actually showed purported footage from the elevator. Like there's like, and you could see it's like an Asian news station that was showing. I'm like, all right, I don't think someone's going to go to the trouble of like producing a fake clip. There's got to be a there. So I screenshotted it and I just threw the image into Google image search, reverse images, and I did start to see results. I'm like, okay, they're all overseas news sites. What's going on here? And sure enough, it was in 2010. It was in Taipei. It was a 12-story building, and in this little, kind of a small building, small neighborhood, one elevator, and the fifth floor of the building was a medical facility, like a little rehabilitation sanatorium type home. Reports vary a little bit, and some of these articles are Google translated. I'll link all this stuff I found in the description. But the story goes, this woman who had some mental, challenges or had her faculties were not perhaps all there, and instead of pressing 5, she must have accidentally pressed 6. The sixth floor of the building was a private floor or a private residence, perhaps, and the person who owned it was not there, like was very, very gone, like had like moved away or was gone most of the year and was worried about break-ins. So he had erected on his own like this mesh metal gate about a foot or so in from the landing sill. So when this woman turns up on the floor and she's like, "Oh, man, what is this?" She didn't recognize. She was confused allegedly. She's like, "What the fuck?" And she stepped off the elevator, which allowed the door to close behind her. And there's all this like news animation footage describing it's like how this could have happened. It's really terrifying. She could not. It's literally we talked about it in the last video. She couldn't call the elevator back. She couldn't. No one could hear her. She couldn't even lay down or sit. She was just pinned. And it is presumed, based on security camera footage, she was there for days. She expired and was later only discovered. Again, the story is so sensational. Like Another person was visiting the building. It wasn't the guy on 6th floor. It was a guy visiting his daughter. He shows up and tries to go to 7. But again, he like missed the button by 1 and hit 6. So the elevator platforms on 6, the doors open, and a dead woman falls onto him. And he's screaming. He tries the call button. He tries to call his daughter. He's freaking out the way the story goes in the other video. Like the people trying to talk to him, authorities and his daughter are trying to talk to him. And eventually they're like, just pull yourself together, get her legs in the cab. The elevator will come down to the lobby. Like, again, another person just not all there mentally because he's having a freaking conniption. Eventually he did. Eventually they get to the lobby. She's very much deceased. I don't know if the actual floor number 6 guy faced charges. The reports, again, are a little vague. I'll leave all the links down there. You can try to find out more. Among the links I found was also this one very goth-tastic Japanese VTuber who picked up on the story and reported it on her channel. Their channel? I don't know. But yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, like to me, in America, that would be like, we're a very litigious society. And again, that's super against building code. You can't make like weird modifications like that. I think he probably would have faced at least negligent homicide or some kind of charges in America. But to my knowledge, this was just one of those things that just sort of happens in places where we don't have the same regulations. So it is a real story. I guess the lesson here, man, like, don't let that elevator door close. If you're ever somewhere that you're not certain, like, I've done this sometimes. I'm like, yeah, you stay in the elevator for a second, or you stay on that subway, or you stay, just hold the door for a second while I try to figure this out. Because as long as something's blocking the door, the car or the whatever, tram car, train car, elevator car, is not going away. You might be holding a bunch of people up. Don't do that. Please stand clear of the closing doors. But yeah, man, like, more either nightmare fuel or be forearmed. If you're exploring weird buildings and you don't know where you are, just kind of keep a hand back there in the doors and be like, well, what's going on here? Or at the very least, keep your frigging cell phone on you. So yeah, keep that in mind. Keep yourself safe wherever you're, in elevators, out of elevators, in Taipei, on a 6th floor in a zero clearance vestibule. Please don't die. I want you to stay safe out there.